I remember when the dreams started. The first one, it was just me. It was night and I couldn't see far in front of me, and I wouldn't look behind me. All there was a long sidewalk with snow on either side. My pace was slow and I would shiver often due to the cold and falling snow. And when I finally sensed dread, my mother woke me up to get ready for school. It stopped for about 10 nights, but then it happened again. I was on the same lonely stretch of sidewalk, snow on either side. It was the same, although I did hear it behind me that time. It wasn't the human thud, thud footsteps. It was not bipedal. It sounded more like a pid-pad, but not hoofed. It was strange, and I was about to look, but my mother woke me up again. The dreams continued like this for a while, but then it got worse. Everything was the same. Of course, over the time the footsteps had found their way behind me. The dream had seemed like it would play out the same, but of course, it didn't. I seemed to slow down as the dream went on, and finally I stopped and stood there wanting to see what was behind me, but also not wanting to. I woke up and ran into the bathroom across the hall and barfed and hurled into the toilet. The dream was making me sick, literally. I thought I was free of the dream, and I was, at least for a few years. I was in college with my friends, and there was a big test, and I didn't have much sleep. And when I finally did, I knew the dream before it even started. Same sidewalk, same snow, the same dread. I didn't know it until it happened. I turned around with 4 pairs of icy blue eyes, staring at me. 1 pair of red glowing eyes. I turned back and I ran. I became dizzy and I couldn't see, but I kept running. And when I could see again, the snow was as red as the monster's eyes, and the snow wasn't falling anymore. No, it was replaced by blood dripping down. It ran down my spine, and I woke up in bed. I smiled and giggled and took a few strips of cloth and carefully gagged my friends. I found a knife and I went up to the first friend and I stabbed her in the throat, pulling upwards. When she was dead, I carefully carved symbols into her arms, and when I was done, I smiled and looked down upon my artwork. But it was sloppy, and I did it again to my second friend, this time slicing an X into her stomach. Deep. But this time I took a pocket knife to do the designs, and it turned out much better. The third and last friend was also my lifelong friend. I smiled and tied her down before waking her. She saw me and hold the blood-covered knife over her. I held the tip up to her neck and sliced down into her chest, and down into her stomach. She died quickly, so I began carving. I carved the symbols with my pocket knife and smiled and looked upon my masterpiece. I decided to number which one I did first to which one I did last, and smiled as I took more pocket knives and pinned them up against the wall by their hands. They, of course, caught me, but it's not like I was hiding. They threw me in jail. I only ate little bits, and the rest of the time I laid there curled up into a ball, smiling and rocking back and forth. They decided to put me into a mental hospital instead. It was the same. One day I found something sharp and I drove it into someone's back, though I didn't know who. But I immediately heard the sounds of a gun. Click, click, boom! I fell limp and woke up on the sidewalk. Everything was normal. Now I still walk on the sidewalk.